Lisa. Happy National Scrapbooking Day. If you're watching this at a later time, happy Scrapbooking Day to you. I hope you're enjoying watching videos and getting inspiration and getting some scrapping done. Today's video, I am using an older photo of myself when we cleaned out my mother's kitchen to remodel last year. I finally found some more photos of myself. I do not have a lot of photos from my childhood. This was part of a group of photos that were taken with me with my first car. So I was 16, and I thought we would do a page on Sweet 16 and kind of get some of the memories back from that time period. So I sat down a few days ago and just typed up a list of things that I remember from my around age 16 and that end of my sophomore, beginning of my junior year in high school, and what that was like. Now, I can't swear that everything on here is exactly when I was 16, but we're getting, you know, that kind of time period. Several decades have passed and my memory may not be perfect, but I do remember quite a few things. And this photo even brings back the memory of walking home from the end of the road from the school bus every day. The neighbor's dog, they had a Great Dane, and he would sit in their yard and he would watch me. And he never made a move like he was going to come down there and get me. But I was rather afraid of dogs at that time when I was young, and so I didn't really enjoy that walk home. So all your memories don't have to be perfect, sweet memories, but you have all these experiences from your life, and it's wonderful to get those down. Not, you know, maybe for other people they can be, but really for yourself, because when you scrapbook, you get to relive what happened to you, and so you're recreating something and remembering, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to do that as part of our hobby, and it's also great to be creative. Now, the sketch I have for today looks a little odd. We're going to do a little more with this. I have this in straight lines. We're actually going to do some curves. This would have been 1980, but we're coming off the 70s, and I wanted that 70s kind of look to the page, a little bit 70s, early 80s kind of look. So I'm going to do a curved line here. We'll do that. I'll show you on the silhouette. I've already drawn it, but I'll show you cutting that on the silhouette real quickly. And then we're going to do some strips of paper behind it with a variety of different colors. I'm kind of going off my striped shirt here. Now, I've got solid colors, and if I were doing a true 70s look, I would probably fill this with solids. Be a wonderful opportunity to use a lot of different cardstocks. But I also, because of the colors here, the pink and aqua, I got tons of designer paper with those colors. So I have a lot of stuff out. I have lots of 6x6 papers, so I'm going to go through those and pull out some papers that I like here shortly. And I also have a number of things to use for these two papers. And I thought I'd do two different things for sort of the top and the bottom of this page. I love this yellow with these designs. I just don't know if it's going to be kind of competing with what I'm going on or if it's going to be too bold, but I love this paper from Allison Craft for Webster's Pages. So I've had that one for a while. So I've got some yellows and aquas and pinks and just a variety of different things that were in my drawers by color. And some thickers for the lettering, and I want to use some flair here in this design. We're going to cut a big flower and put a piece of flair in there. Now, the journaling for this, since I have quite a bit of journaling, you can see I don't have tons of it on the page. I'm going to show you a little fold-out trick where you can put quite a bit of journaling in a very small amount of space and, you know, get to capture a lot of memories that way, and it doesn't have to take up lots of room on your page. So let's get started. I'm going to go to the silhouette first, because what I want to do is to kind of cut that background where I'm going to put the stripe, the pieces of paper, and go ahead and put the designs that I like down, and then pick the backgrounds that go the best with the little pieces that I choose. Since I have lots of those and I really want to use quite a few of those, we'll put those in first, and then we'll decide which of these backgrounds that I want to work with. I'm in the Silhouette software just briefly to show you what I'm going to be cutting. I have drawn these two curved lines, and I'm going to be cutting this more than one time because I want to get this middle part out of just some scrap paper that I will put my designer paper on top of, and then of course we'll need to cut these sections. And I'll save this and you'll have it over on my blog, so if you want to download it and use it on the silhouette you can. You just open it and then cut it as many times as you need for different types of paper. I also wanted to show you that these are fairly easy to modify if you want to adjust a curved line. You just double click on it and you have the different points, and when you click on a point you can move the point like up or down. I'm going to undo that right quick because I want to keep this the same. But you can also double click on them, click on a point, and there are these two little blue boxes on each side, and that's the tilt, and that can adjust your curve as well. So you kind of get an idea of the things that you can do to customize this look for your design. So I'm just going to send this to print or to cut on some just scrap paper. So let's pick out some papers from the 6x6 pads. I have a real variety of pads here, just using these popular colors. This one is a retro kind of look, and there's several papers in there that's called B-Sides from Bkgrnd. It's an old pad, and it has a lot of things that sort of fit this time period. And I'm only going to use just a small piece of these. You can cut the pieces larger, smaller. You can have them all the same size, or you can vary the sizes, whatever you want to do for doing this kind of paper strip design. I like to have lots of different papers and not repeat them very much. Okay, this is my cutout from the silhouette, and I cut it using the back side of this paper. My husband came home from the dollar store one day with several sheets of scrapbooking paper, bless his heart, and they just were not things that I really had a use for. This is actually very pretty if you need to do a ballet themed page, but we don't have any ballerinas around here right now, and I was never one, so I don't really have a good use for this. So I just cut it. It's kind of thin paper, and when I put it on a very sticky silhouette mat, so it curled a little bit, but I just cut the back side of it, and I'm going to use temporary adhesive to hold it down to my work area here because it is curled. And I have cut my papers into strips approximately 1.25 inches. And then we're just going to lay these over the top. We're going to adhere them with some permanent adhesive. And we want to go on a bit of a diagonal. I'm not worried about making a perfect diagonal here, just looking for getting something that covers everything, goes across, and I'm just going to kind of stagger the colors a little bit. Let's see, do it this way. Probably have to add a little more adhesive to this before I'm done. And we'll of course be trimming off any excess that we have. So I'm just going to keep stacking the papers, and what I'm looking for is to alternate the busier patterns with the more tone-on-tone and smaller prints. And I've got this one there that I really like because I think it looks very much like the early 80s, and so I want some of that to show. And I'm going to trim a little bit off of this just to make it easier to handle. I do not need to trim close to the edge, but just a little bit to get it to be more manageable. Now let's choose some background papers. Just kind of playing with different ones to see what I like. Some patterns, like that one pattern with the aqua and white, was too big. There was too much contrast on there, and it competed with the smaller prints. But I liked the aqua floral. I like the solid aqua. The yellow's working for me, the one that I like the best. And I'm thinking 2 prints will work, but I don't know for sure. I'll probably cut the yellow piece first. What we're going to do is cut this out with the exact shape. So it'll be a cut of this shape, and it will lay over the top of this, and then the one on the bottom will be the exact shape, and it will lay over the top, and that will form the design. So I don't have to cut this out completely along the cut edge of the template on the back to get my design. So let me go to the silhouette. I'm going to cut these and come back and assemble this on a background. I broke out a new silhouette mat for this layout, and so it's very sticky, and everything that's coming off of it's coming off a bit curled. But we're going to glue it all down to the background, and I'm using another one of these thinner papers for the background. And I'm lining up the back onto, or the pieced part onto the background. I'm not being super precise, and what I ended up with is up in the upper left-hand corner a few pieces of paper that needed to be slid over just to make sure I had good coverage. It doesn't matter that much because what's going to form the design is the yellow piece and the green piece, because those are cut, of course, with the precise curve, and they're going to lay on top. So we're just going to slide a few the background pieces over a bit. This particular layout has only one photo on it, and that's a bit unusual for me. Most of my pages have multiple photos. I do a lot of sketches as well for my photos, and check out my YouTube channel. You'll find many process videos available if you like watching the process videos. The photo I'm using for this page, of course, is from childhood, and those are very precious to me because we didn't take a lot of photos, a lot of things got lost, and if you're in that situation where you don't have all the photos that you'd like from a certain time period in your life, you might be interested in the PDF that I have available for sale from my site called No Photo, No Problem. It contains several different ways to deal with the situation of not having the perfect photo. It has a number of layouts that are included in the PDF and in the corresponding video. So there'll be a link for that in the project description. Now, for this particular layout, I wanted to use a piece of flare, and I considered using Be True, but I felt like this was not really a motivational page. This was a page about what happened, so I decided to go with The Good Life, and that's also green, so it fits on a nice pretty pink flower, which I think is a good color for the flower down there towards the bottom of the page. And I've cut that on the silhouette and just punched out a background for it to give it a little bit of yellow in there as well. The only color in the paper strip that I didn't like is the yellow. It looked too much like the background, so I want to fill it in with something, and I'd love to use another one of those pattern papers that some of these really floral ones and things that I especially liked, but they don't really fit in there between the butterflies and the stripe paper, so I'm going to use a little more neutral paper in there as well. I've also got some thickers there for the background, or for the title, so we'll get those in. Substituting a piece in the strip is very easy. I just cut it to the right width and then just slide it underneath the edges of the curved piece. I added a little Tombow adhesive to hold those curves down because, of course, using the tape runner is a little harder to do around a curved edge. I have reprinted my journaling 6 inches wide by 4.5 inches long, and I've scored it 1.5 inches and 3 inches, so it makes this little triple fold, and it's going to be easy to hide my text from just anybody flipping through my journal, but yet I'll be able to see it when I want to look at the memories that I happen to record here for my 16th year. I'm going to decorate the top of this with a little bit more of the 6x6 paper and some ribbon, so it'll be obvious that it's kind of a flip-up piece. And I found a really good sticker there from October Afternoon that I've been saving for some time for this. So we'll add just a little bit more embellishment to it. I finished off my page with just a couple of enamel dots down here and a little bit of washi tape around the photo, draw a little bit more attention there. I could, when I put this in the page protector, cut out around this so that it's easy to get into this in the page protector, but I'm not going to do that. Even though this goes in my album and I'm typically the only one who looks at it, it's not something that if anybody else is flipping through, I really want them to read this journaling. It's a little more private. So I'm just going to put it in the page protector just like this. And that way, if I want to read it, I have to pull it out and look at it, and other people won't be able to see it. But it's very easy to get into and read that journaling. So let's take a look at our completed page. We have our sketch here, and whereas I drew this straight, we did some fun diagonal lines. I moved my title up here beside of that just a little bit to get this blue-green color off of the green background. Love this yellow paper. It is, I was looking at the video a few minutes ago, and I think it's coming out a little bit different color on the screen, but it's a little more of a greenish yellow in real life, and it's just a fun design for this time period. And our die cut flower, got to work in a cute word sticker that I've had for quite some time, and the word believe, and then my photo from a long time ago, and I realize I'm covering my feet up. I don't want to do that. I don't want anything that covers the subject up in my photos, so we'll take a little bit of that washi tape away. So I hope you enjoyed the page, and take the opportunity to go back and find a photo from your childhood and scrap it and talk about whatever you want to talk about. Photos can bring back lots of memories. I could have talked just about, you know, riding the bus and walking home from the bus stop in this picture if I wanted to. I wouldn't have had to do, you know, the whole Sweet 16 thing. Whatever your memories come out, it's a great opportunity to scrap those for yourself, for your children, just however you know, whoever you want to have as your audience for your page. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you'll check out my channel, or my YouTube channel, Lisa E Design, but also my website, lisaedesign.com, for more information about my sketchbook classes and the PDF No Photo, No Problem. Thanks so much.